Mayor, there's a big race going on in what is it, second district commissioner race.
Yeah.
Shub and Shub and Dominguez,
Mhm.
and Roy Dominguez has been, and a number of times, been very critical of Jerry Shub in a number of areas: transparency, contracts, the trash to ethanol. This week, Jerry Shub came in here a couple of times, and we've replayed the show a number of times. He came in here with John Bunsich, the sheriff. And both of them took off their gloves and went after Roy Dominguez full force.
They were on the same show?
They were on the same show. Perhaps you didn't hear it, but they did come in and they were just...
I heard there was a heated show.
It was a heated show, and we taped it, and candidates have the option of paying to replay that show again. And,
oh, really?
And so they did that.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, so a lot more are doing that when they have a show that they like.
Show?
Yeah, they're like, well, you know
you
what?
should charge like $500 to replay it. Sorry, man. It's like...
You know what? If the FCC wasn't listening right now, then I probably would. But there are certain rules that regard that. But Jerry Shub finally took the gloves off. And he did it again for Kuziak on Wednesday.
It's about time.
And why do you say that?
He's a gentleman. Jerry is. And he prides himself. He's run for re-election and election 10, 15 times. He's never lost, by the way. And he's run the same campaign each and every time that he's campaigned. And he's a gentleman, and he doesn't believe in negative campaigning. And he was getting his butt kicked by Roy verbally. I'm not saying he's losing the race. I'm saying Roy's just beating the heck out of Jerry, and Jerry wouldn't respond. And, you know, I know a number of people, myself included, were telling Commissioner Shub, you got to take off the gloves, man. You're getting beat up. And the thing about Roy is, even though a lot of people don't like Roy, he's a smart guy and he campaigns hard. I mean, I'm going to give him credit. He grew up in East Chicago politics, and he knows how to do it. I mean, he knows how to campaign, and he knows how to campaign hard, and he's a smart guy as an attorney. I mean, so you can't take him for granted at all. And in fact, you should be paranoid, and I think Jerry's finally getting the memo that he's going to have to fight.
Well, as you well know from the political end, and I kind of know from the public relations and media end, you don't want to let your opponent control the message. And it seemed as if for a while there that Roy Dominguez, with his criticisms of Jerry Shub and Jerry not fighting back, Roy Dominguez was certainly controlling the message, and it was kind of it made for really good radio from both Dominguez, who's been in here, and from Shub lately, because they're both going at each other pretty hard.
You know, the weird thing about this, I mean, we do have 2 good commissioner races going in Lake County right now, okay, and then we have a good state senate race going in Lake County. But when you think about the upcoming primary, we're going to have the lowest voter turnout we've had in decades. You watch. There's nobody contested for Democrats. I'm talking about the Democratic side. President's uncontested. Joe Donnelly, the U.S. Senate candidate's uncontested. Congressman Pete Visclosky's uncontested. Our candidate for governor, John Gregg, is uncontested. The top 4 guys that pull votes out they're not even campaigning hard right now. They're just saving money. They're not running ads. They're not putting out yard signs. So the only races we have to show up for on this cycle are the local races. So, I mean, the Shub-Dominguez race will generate some traffic, people coming out to vote. And, the race we have over here in Hammond with Repay, with Kadick, and with Novak, I mean, that's not as hot as the Dominguez-Shub race, but it's definitely interesting. There's signs everywhere, and I know the 3 of them are all working real hard. But really, I mean, there's going to be a horrible, pathetic turnout. And and for the candidates, they got to think about who their audience is this time. Their audience is hardcore voters. Like, if you ever missed an election, you're not part of the audience right now. Like, you want people to just show up every single time. That's who's going to show up this time.
I do want to go in a little different direction. I was not here last Friday, as you well know, as a Kuziak. I was in Washington, D.C. for the very first time and had an audience with Pete Visclosky in a non-media situation. In other words, I was there with my wife and her law folks, and I talked to him for a while, and it was nice to get to know him outside of these sometimes rather terse interviews.
Did you go to his office? Or?
To his office. He came around, took us around, and he spent a lot of time with us, took us into the house and so forth. But it's, even though I have, made a stronger relationship with Pete Visclosky over the last week, I got to ask the question. First of all, I can't imagine a better job than working in Washington, D.C. It is such a cool city and it's such a cool place to be. But he's been there for 28 years. He is running uncontested. again,
Mm-hmm.
if and when is there going to be some competition for him?
Good question. I mean, the thing about Pete right now is Pete's got seniority. I mean, and that's a good thing. And you said Congress would be the best job in the world. I've talked to a lot of junior congressmen that would totally disagree with that statement. For instance, I have a friend, Brad Ellsworth, who was a congressman, ran for Senate, got beat. He's no longer a congressman, but I went to his office, and he was a junior congressman, like less than 4 years. His office was ridiculously small and hard to get to. It was literally, you had to take stairs to get to his office. Basically what I'm saying is, when you look at Congressman Pete, you look at a congressman with 28 years of experience, he's got a good job. But you look at my friend Brad Ellsworth, it was a brand new. They don't care. If you're a brand new congressman, even though you represent a million people, you're a scrub. You're brand new. Like, get upstairs. You're on the 4th floor, and the elevator only goes to the 3rd floor. I mean, and that's the truth. So, and a lot of very ambitious people that go to Congress hate it because for the first 8 years, you're nothing.
You know, I would, I don't know, I was in awe. And I thought, wow, what a great place to work, and what a great place to make a difference. And I don't want to argue the merits of being a congressman, but I do want to argue that the competition, even though it has gotten a little bit contentious between Shube and Dominguez, the competition here in the commissioner's race of 3, you know, all these people have been around that are running, and they're well-known names and so forth, it has to help your party to some extent in having some people to choose from, even though there are some that you choose over others. We don't have that at the congressional level.
That's totally true, Jim.
There's no competition there.
And as a result of a lack of competition, I'm not encouraging people to run against Pete Wiskoski. I want to make that clear. But if Pete was in a contested race, big if, he's not. But if he was, it would help drive more people to the polls on Election Day. There's no doubt about it, okay? But Pete's uncontested. John Gregg's uncontested. Joe Donnelly's uncontested for the Senate, and Barack Obama's uncontested for the presidency. And that's, in our party, wanted that. We did that on purpose. But down here at the local level, we have to realize that because all these big dogs are uncontested, our job to get people to show up on Election Day is that much harder. Because it's hard to get people excited about the county coroner. No offense to the county coroner candidates. It's hard to get people excited about the surveyor. It's hard to get people excited about the recorder. And I'm not trying to offend people. I mean, if Pete Wiskoski is contested, there's people that are going to show up to vote, okay? But if you have a contested race for the coroner, it's like a lot of people say, Mayor, I don't care who picks up Hammond's dead bodies. I've heard it many times. It's like, why are we electing these people? And that's the big question. Why are we electing who picks up dead bodies? No offense to the coroner candidates. This is the way our Constitution's written up, but that's my question is it really a Democrat or Republican way to pick up dead bodies? I'm a Republican. I pick up dead bodies better than the Democrat. It's stupid. I mean, we need to fix how we do government in Indiana, and this is a perfect example. Electing a coroner is ridiculous. No offense to the coroner candidates.